closely followed by United States with 30 gold medals, Australia with 18 gold medals, and 14 gold medals for the host nation, France. In overall, it is United States with 104, China with 77, but you know what it means to have a gold. Even if you have 1,000 silver and medal and bronze medals, one gold supersedes everything else. You're welcome to the show today. Yes, Lonely at the Top. That was one of my favorite tracks of all time. But as we speak, another Nigerian artist that is lonely at the top right now had to be Aᴍᴏ. Hey, big shout out to this guy. He dropped a new joint, Lungu Boy, and boy oh boy, there's some amazing work of art in that joint. You can check it out. It is not my job to talk to you about that. I'm here to take you through the world of sports. I don't even know why I'm that excited. Probably because it's Friday. And probably because I'm going to have the opportunity to discuss transfer stories. Chelsea, 47 squad members as we speak. Somebody said if you are looking for your kid brother, don't search any further. Just go to Cobhams. Chelsea have signed him. And of course, I have a whole team in the house today. I've got interns. I got, of course, my Superman myself, my right-hand man. Hey, I got Tommy. Well, bang, 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 bang. And of course, I got Akita in the building. Guys, it's Friday. And the gold medal match for football is going on strong. The host nation, France, parading one of the finest or set of the finest players in world football, from former Arsenal striker Lacazette to Crystal Palace player of the season Mateta to another Crystal Palace player Michael Olise. They are trailing Spain 3-1 after France took the lead. It seems this is the Olympics that belongs to two players as we speak. Morocco's striker that got 8 goals already, the first player to score in 6 consecutive. Let's talk about the game. The first 45 minutes, we all saw it. How did you rate that match, especially the comeback from Spain? Agbatomi, take it from here.
Yes, of course. Good evening to everyone. Of course, a massive pleasure. The first goal, and to be honest, it just seemed like Spain. To be honest, it was all about Spain. We definitely saw Lacazette as well. Lacazette, we also saw Mateta, just like you said, who was the best player for Crystal Palace last season. Unfortunately, not being able to come to the fore. But then, at the moment, Spain 3-1. And yes, of course, let's just see how the second half will pan out and see if, because France, of course, are the competition's host, and then they want to put up a massive showing for the Rockers. Because I saw the crowd, I saw how
it's an amazing over 70,000 fans in the stadium.
Park the Princes. So let's just see how the second half will pan out.
Well, Akintayo, it's been a tournament for Fermin Lopez.
Definitely.
Classic finishes. But beyond that, you look at the growth of Spain in world football all of a sudden. The female team qualified for their first major tournament for the first time in 2015, which was the World Cup. They got knocked out in the round of 16. They came back. I know they didn't come out of the group stage. By the next World Cup in 2019, they got knocked out in the round of 16. Guess who are the world champions right now?
The Spanish side.
Now look at the performance of the boys as well. Under 17, under 19, under 20, the senior team. And look at what the Olympic team are doing at the moment. They're leading the host nation by 3-1. What has changed between the dominance of Spain from 2009 when they won the Confederations Cup, 2010 when they won the World Cup in South Africa, defeating Holland in the final? There was a moment where the team went off, probably because they got used to each other. But it looks like there's a revolution within the Spanish football. What exactly is going on in Spain?
Good evening, Lagos, Nigeria. You can see the evidence of proper planning. It is so evident. If you look at the Spanish under-23 team that went to the last Olympics at Tokyo, they were the second team. They were the second place team. The team that had the likes of Pedri, that was one of the star players of the tournament. They came second. They fell short at the last Olympic. Currently, now they are in the finals. It shows a country that has a template that they are working on. It's just like when you have a certain meal and you know the recipe. in as much as you don't mix the recipe, the meal would always turn out well just as you planned it. But in as much as you just pick any recipe available at the Olympics currently.
Let's take our first break. We're due for our first break, and of course when we come back we'll spend more time on the evolution of the Spanish football, both in the male and the female, in the age grade competitions. We'll also talk about Team Nigeria's performance, because we have someone that will be joining us via phone. Let's take our first break. It's Sport Cruise Live on Mainland 98.3 FM.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
Disease, but we can stop it together.
Remember to always drink clean, safe water. Boil or treat your water before drinking. Wash your hands with soap and clean water, especially before eating and after using the toilet.
Cook your food thoroughly and eat it while it is hot.
Keep your surroundings clean and dispose of waste properly. If you or anyone you know shows symptoms like severe diarrhea or vomiting, seek medical help immediately.
So together we can beat cholera and keep our community healthy.
This message is brought to you by Mainland 98.3 FM, Lagos. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Looking for ways to save your data? It starts with your apps. Deleting unused apps helps, but there is more. Most apps have data saver modes. Activate them to control data usage. You can also go to settings to turn off auto updates. Lastly, close unused apps to save data when you ain't using your apps. These changes can make a big difference. For more information, visit your mobile operator's website or consumer.ncc.gov.ng for more helpful tips. Stay connected and enjoy smarter data usage. This message is brought to you by the Association of Telecom Operators and Nigerian Communications Commission.
Open defecation in Nigeria perpetuates a cycle of poor health, environmental degradation, and undermines human dignity. With approximately 47 million people practicing open defecation nationwide, Nigeria ranks among the top countries globally with the highest number of individuals who lack access to proper sanitation facilities. The stats look grim. The overriding effect in itself can be terrible to our general well-being. In that light, we from Mainland 98.3 FM call on the government to increase its efforts in providing public toilets to end this scourge. And we also encourage the citizenry to imbibe proper hygiene and not defecate in public.
What about sunrise? What about rain? What about all the things that you said we were?
You dey find ways to save your data. You go first start out with your apps. Delete apps wey you no dey use, but other things go still dey. Some apps get data saver modes. Make you activate them to control the data usage. You fit also go your setting, make you off the auto updates them. Then make you also close apps wey you no dey use to save your data when you no dey use your apps. This small change go fit help you save your data well. For more information, make you go your mobile operator website or consumer.ncc.gov.ng for better tips. Make we dey connect and enjoy our data use well. This message dey come from the Association of Licensed Telecom Operators wey join body with the Nigerian Communication Commission.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
Thank you very much for staying with us on Milan 98.3 FM Sport Cruise, and we get to do this every Mondays to Fridays from 6 to 7 p.m. We take you through the world of sports, irrespective of what your interest is. And as we speak, is the 52nd minute between France, the host nation, and Spain, and it's 3-1 in favor of Spain. Let's see how how much more they would either score or concede. But it was the French team that drew the first blood, and it's the Olympics for Nigeria. We went with about 83 athletes to compete in about 13 or 14 events. Out of about 30 something events, you ask yourself, did we really do enough to prepare for the Olympics? The Jᴏɪᴜ is here. And he was the country director of Making of Champions. Making of Champions is one really big organization that is involved with, discovering young talents, and they've really done a lot in that regard. So let's have them join us. Let's talk about the performance of Team Nigeria, how we got to where we are, if at all we made any progress from the last Olympics. Deji, good evening and welcome to Sport Cruise.
Good evening, Mokwe. It's great to be on the show.
Okay. First off, I've followed you for a while, and big shout out to you, by the way. You've done an amazing job for yourself. You were in the studio with us last year before you traveled out, and I've seen a couple of things, guys that you've moved with. Very recently, I saw your video with the current Olympic gold, champion, the Botswana guy. In fact, the president of Botswana declared a public holiday today to celebrate the gold medal. They said it's for Africa. I've also seen you do a lot of stuff, but each time you talk to those guys, Deji, and then you have to speak to Nigerian athletes, can you tell me any mental difference whatsoever that you always observe between those athletes and the ones that we have here?
Well, okay, it's a correlation that happens with most African countries, to be very honest. There will always be very few exceptions, especially with the Western countries, where you could see the proper planning they put into sports and how much they want to grow their team or improve their athletes, right? And it's just a reflection of their country. I always say this all the time. Reflection of how the economy is, and Nigeria is no different, right? We as a country, we just are immune to planning it properly, looking for shortcuts that would perhaps derail the athletes' convenience, issues of allowances. I'm sure you're not the first time you've heard this. It seems like a continuum, and it doesn't seem like it will stop at any point. Issues of how they will travel, refund of flight tickets, proper accommodation, and all of these things are being mitigated by the fact that sponsors can come in, and sponsors have come, but because they see this whole chaos, they cannot stay long term in a way. We would be stuck in that same place. So it's just that same rhetoric. We've got the talent. We've seen Nigerians competing for other countries, and they're doing well. And in fact, we're aside the ones that were born in those countries, the ones that moved or switched allegiance. And it's not just in track alone, in other sports. You could see that correlation in the...
It is just what it is. But let's come back home. As a build-up to this election, the Minister of Sports, that's Senator John Eno, keep talking about, how do we do this? They've done enough, billions of naira for the athletes, some amount of money also for the Paralympians also that will have theirs in the next couple of weeks. But can you summarize everything about Team Nigeria for us, Deji? It is 3 athletes. We participated in about 14 sports. In fact, there were ones that we couldn't even move past the first stage. Aruna Quadri lost to a 19-year-old at this round 64 of the table tennis. Look at every other thing that we've done. Talk to us about where Team Nigeria is right now and how did we get to this point, if we ever at the point where we were better than this.
So, look, I feel in terms of numbers, we shouldn't really hammer on some of these shock results because every country has got those shock results, especially the top nations. I could tell you a couple of shock results from the Americans, even in track alone, right? Sha'Carri obviously not winning was a shock result, despite all the preparation you could talk about. So that was a big surprise, right? Michael Norman not winning or coming last in the 400. But what they have over us is the fact that they've got the sheer number to invest and put in other athletes, that just in case the primary person that's meant to win or is the superstar falters, there's another person to take over the mantle. And the trials alone even left a couple of athletes that would even make Team Nigeria, even other countries in the world, like the Ḥūᴏ. These are top hurdlers that even make Team USA, right? And we have the numbers. I dare say only Nigeria can match USA in terms of the numbers. This is a country of over 300 million people. Their black population is less than 15 million people, right? That's 15% of the population. That's just less than 50 million people. And they're the ones that are dominating track for the Americans. But look at them dominating the Olympics. But we can't come close. We talked about Tᴏɪᴏ Aᴅᴏ breaking the world record 2 years ago, right? We are making of champions. We put up processes to discover the new ones or the next generations of stars. But it goes beyond making of champions. Other private investors still to come in, make it an holistic effort that see that it's a long-term strategy. We shouldn't even be talking of LA 2028. We should be win titles in 2028. I can tell you that one for free. No one, except if a miracle happens or there'll be an outlier, which of course can happen. But in terms of strategy, right, you would almost not see it happening. So I genuinely feel another angle we can look at is pumping in a lot of money on sports that we've historically done well, like track and field, like wrestling, like table tennis, and ensuring that so much attention is given to this sport and increasing the turnovers of athletes that are covered every single year. I give you an example. When Neeraj Chopra won gold for India in the javelin, sadly was beaten by the Pakistani yesterday. But in 2021, when he won gold, the amount of money India pumped into their throws, coaching, and making sure that people get into the sport is north of, I dare say, $20 million. They have to bring in the best of throws coach from the Americans or from the US. I know the coach that went to India, to ensure that they discover the next Neeraj Chopra, and they've had hundreds. Now, they did that like 2 years ago. They were not expecting them to make the Olympics now. But LA, don't be expecting, or as we did up towards LA, don't be surprised when you see a couple of Indians in the javelin, in the short put, in the discus. Don't be surprised, right? Same thing with other nations. See what Cuba are doing with boxing and with wrestling, right? Even though some of the athletes in the jumps, because they're historically good with the jumps, move to like Portugal and Spain. But regardless, that's where their strength lies, right? But we don't necessarily have to move to other countries, right? With track and field, with wrestling, with Daniel Ali, right? Going to win gold for Canada. So why can't another Nigerian win gold for Nigeria in wrestling, right? Same thing with table tennis. We might not be able to match the Chinese, but hey, we should be able to get as far as we can, right? Then in track and field, right? If Tebogo is winning gold, 28 years after Frankie Fredericks was winning silver in Barcelona 92 and Atlanta 96. Why can't Manu Dodgy win gold, and or perhaps you get more people to compete there? So it's like I said, in some because I don't see the word. Hopefully we get this right, because getting it right feels like an absolute statement. We just put up those little progresses step by step, and we can see those subtle successes along the way.
Okay, before we leave the Team Nigeria conversation, you made mention of something really key now, which is investment. Investment, not necessarily in terms of money. Yes, money is also really important, but in terms of how do we discover the next generation? I mean, sometimes it's good. Longevity is also a big factor, the games experience and all of that. But when you look at some of the athletes that we have, the ones that have been to 6 Olympics, 5 Olympics, and there's nothing really significant to come out of where we are right now. These countries that have made progress, I mean, you talked about the 100 meters gold, for instance. The entire world thought it was going to be the American lady, and out of nowhere, someone from one of the tiniest islands in the world, less than 300,000 people, Gillian Alfred, just came out of nowhere and she blew everybody up. You also just talked about Tebogo right now, winning gold medals against Niles with all of the energies and all of that. These are countries that, they've not exactly been at the big stage. What are they doing rightly that we are not doing rightly, DG?
Well, it's nothing special, right? I talked about it in my last statement. Of course, it's a one-off for like us and here. They cannot have It's just by sheer numbers of probabilities, they cannot have another Julian Alfred in another 10 years or in another 5 years. It's just not going to happen. We had Grenada brink up Quirinny James. The island is less than 200,000 people, the Caribbean nation, and Quirinny James is at his fourth Olympics. We've not seen anybody. Okay, we've got Anderson, the javelin thrower. So they'll just have those pockets here or there. Jamaica obviously is the outlier. There are 3 million plus people, but this is also a developing nation like Nigeria. But their sheer love for track and field and the willingness to keep on churning out athletes, producing some of the best coaches. You talk of Glenn Mills. Glenn Mills trained Usain Bolt. This is a veteran, an OG in the sport. You put him in the same breath as Bobby Kersey, the man that trained Alison Felix, is now training Sidney McLaughlin Levrone, right? Then there's Stephen Francis, the guy that trained Asafa Powell, Israeli Thompson era, Shelly Ann Fraser Price. He's now also training Keisha Thompson, right? While Glenn Mills is training both of the athletes got the final of the 100 meters, right? So it's not going to happen in one day. So that concentration in sports that we are very good at, Nigerians love those sports, and we now have to invest in infrastructures and invest in quality coaching. If it means taking them abroad. The only reason we are seeing a high turnover of track and field athletes at this Olympics is because a large chunk of them got scholarships to come to the NCAA, which the collegiate system, which is not just Nigerians. I mean, every other country has got athletes in the NCAA. It's the single most biggest pipeline of discovering of talents or improving them through the collegiate system. So you talk of someone like Samuel Ogazi getting to 100 meters final. He just joined the NCAA in January. ᴘᴏᴛ Cʀᴜɪsᴇ getting to the 100 meters final. Same thing with him, right? So it could be a mixture of both of them, and that's what we need to do.
Thank you very much, Deji. Now, let's talk about the Olympics itself, of the opening ceremony, the splendor, the show of beauty that the city of Paris represents. The first time the Olympic opening ceremony will be held outdoor, over 300,000 athletes. We saw all of those things. But, I mean, for someone that have covered a whole lot of sporting meets, from world championships to, meets here and there, the next stop city of Paris have set in terms of what we should expect in the next 4 years, in terms of organization, with all of the threat that the city has faced in the last 1 year, security challenges.
An amateur event, it's not professional sport. So that's the line I used to try to tell everybody, because you see sponsors plastered everywhere, and they're making money off it, and the athletes are not being paid. That's a conversation for another day. Another conversation that you just asked about is how much of this is viable for the old city. And actually, it's not viable. In fact, it's the opposite, because this is going to dollars of debt, building white elephant projects. And what Paris has been able to do is to mitigate against that by using existing structures and perhaps building temporary sites, which is one of the reasons for the first time when they were putting up the bid for 2024 and 2028. So it's only Paris and LA that were left, and they just put Paris to host 2024 and LA to host 2028, right? So also want to host the event because it's not viable for them financially. So you would only see long-term big cities that already have are economically strong and viable to be able to, and are able to use pre-existing infrastructures to host most of these events. You're seeing the same thing with the Commonwealth Games, right? So LA obviously has hosted it in 1984 countries in the world, so they would obviously be able to do that. No doubt about that. So they can match everything Paris will do. But in terms of structure, in terms of marketing, in terms of the shape of what we expect with LA, it's going to be different from what we saw with Paris. And I'm saying this from an aspect of branding and marketing, where we know how the Americans can commercialize events like this. I mean, we've not had they've not had an Olympics since Atlanta 96, and this is 28 years down the line. After LA, it's going to be 32. But the landscape of sports marketing and branding through this major event would have shifted. In fact, it's an industry that is perhaps growing the most in the United States. So this is where it's going to get to. So I would expect something different in terms of marketing. Perhaps at that point, the IOC would have bulged to ensure that the Olympics can now be made professional. But then again, it will be going away from the tenet of what was the old thing about discovering or starting the Olympics since the ancient Greeks started its
every single Olympics always have their golden moments. Record set, record broken, individual talent, But what had been the biggest moment for you in these Olympics? Records have been broken, favorites have failed to live up to some of their billings. But from your own observation, Deji, what have been the defining moment for you at these Olympics? Maybe a win, perhaps, or some records, maybe.
Well, it's difficult to say. Really difficult. It depends on the perspective and what you want to take out of it. Personally speaking, I genuinely felt, in terms of the opening ceremony, you look at the way the French changed how it's typically done, right? Athletes' perspective, they were more able to use it to market themselves, especially being allowed to showcase or tell their stories by themselves from the athletes' village or the Olympic village, which the IOC typically do not usually allow. But they've been able to relax that role, and you could see the growth in terms of how they use it to brand themselves. They call it the TikTok. We recall Ilo Amaya, the US rugby player, starting his old trend in Tokyo in 2021, but it's taking a new level this time around. We've seen athletes what it's about, from Simone Biles potentially retiring, and we'll not see her in the LA games. The French swimmer, Jordan Charles, the Brazilian gymnast, to Rebecca Andres, allows announcing himself to the world, even though we that cover track already know what he is. So it's so many subplots and storylines. It just depends on what you want to take out of it. Would I say, from a marketing point of view, which is one of my keen interests in the last couple of years now, it's a big win for the likes of Adidas and Puma. Of course, Adidas are the major partners for the Olympics. So Nike looked for ways to do some ambush marketing, and they were not able to even get it with some of their star names, right? Maybe perhaps let's say Tebogo, but we know allow being sponsored by Adidas, City McLaughlin, and being sponsored by what's the name, New Balance. Nike will just have to choose maybe the American major athletes too. But aside that, Novak Djokovic won the Olympic gold. He's not a Nike athlete beating Carlos Alcaraz. He's a Nike athlete. So from that branding perspective, you say perhaps Adidas, Puma, New Balance are giving Nike a death by 1,000 cups, like
Thank you very much, Jᴏɪṛ, for being our guest on the show today. We've talked quite a lot of things, the Olympics itself, and of course, the performance of Team Nigeria. Maybe when we'll come back, we'll come back to the drawing board and let's see how much, we can put or pass the blames as we always do. But thank you very much, Deji, for being my guest on the show today.
That's a pleasure. Have a great day.
We're due for our first break. When we come back, we'll go straight up into the conversation. I'm sure my guys in the studio would have one or two, reactions to give to the session we had with the Jᴏɪṛ. The Jᴏɪṛ is actually, was the country representative of MOC, that's Making of Champions, and he speaks to us live from Paris, the city of fame, as regards how the Olympics have been so far.
You find better on. I bet you want play correct cost. Over 1.5, I bet you want bet. Say, what team no go score at all Oh no, we there for you. Oh, we there for you. You see for Bet Baba, give me money. Bet Baba, cash out it easy. Oh, Bet Baba, we get online games for you. You play, I got all I want. Yeah, we get better bonus. Money we know that. Yeah, now Bet Baba play us up. Cash out, darling, no. Welcome to Bet Baba.
Register now on betbaba.ng. Not for people under 18.
All right, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for still being with us. That was a very comprehensive session with my friend and brother and our guest today, DJ Gable, joining us and taking us through the whole experience. And I mean, it sounded like he's unbothered, especially with the performance of Team Nigeria. But hey, I'm going to be very sincere with you. I'm really bothered, and I just hope that the president would, maybe ask certain questions. Monies were made available. The sport minister confirmed that about 12 billion was budgeted, 9 billion for these Olympics and 3 billion for the Paralympians. But hey, look at what we have right now. I said it that the first 80 placed countries that have won at least a bronze medal. We saw Botswana, we saw Zambia, we saw all of these countries, but we do not have Nigeria, the giant of Africa. Guys, you heard the Jogebo, and he was very clear on the fact that sometimes it is not even spending money, it is spending money rightly. Akintayo, what do you make of that?
You just have to put your money where your mouth is.
It's simple. It's simple.
You cannot just be spending for you can't be like Chelsea. You can't be like Chelsea. You need to spend. You can't be like back out the old. You need to spend money. You need to spend money for value, and that's what Man City does oftentimes. And because when you have an organization and they don't spend money, they just throw money. You can't keep on throwing money at a problem. When you keep on throwing money at a problem, you keep on creating problems and problems and problems. And to me, it just feels like the Nigerian contingent, especially those in the administrative offices, it just feels like they have been defeated before any tournament starts. They ready, whatever happens,
let it happen.
We know we can't win. We can't win. The highest medal we've won in any Olympic is two gold medals. That's like in terms of gold medalists. We've only had 2 gold medalists, and that was in '96. Cᴏᴏʀᴛ and the dream team. Those were the only time we ever
outrightly won it. The athletics that we had gold, it was an upgrade from silver to gold.
And that was because the
US team, one of them had doping.
And that was in 2008 in Beijing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see that there's no proper planning. The whole mindset needs to be changed. The whole total mindset needs to be changed. In as much as the administrations, our administrative people still have the mindset of whatever happens. Let's just go and get our extra codes and have fun and keep on traveling. Because people keep on traveling. Look at what happened in Tokyo. Collecting the phones back from the athletes when they got those phones. There need to be a change of mindset. We need to know what and where we are spending our money.
Thank you very much. Well, it's been barrage of chances upon chances for France just to see if they can still salvage this game, but as it stands, it is still Spain 3 and France 1. But let me okay, before I talk to you about Tommy, let me talk to Wumi. Hello Wumi, good evening, welcome to the show.
Good evening, gentlemen in the studio.
Good to have you.
In fact, you guys, you are I always pray for you. May the Lord keep on just give you long life.
Amen. And you too.
Okay. Let me now quickly look at it from this perspective. I want to bring to your notice, gentlemen. The last 4 All African Games was dominated for Egypt. You know that?
True.
Now, I just want to take to your attention. Why is Egypt on the medal table of the Olympics? Keep that in your mind. Keep the constant. I know where I'm going. That's another discussion for another day. I just want to bring your attention to that. Then again, just like one of your guy just said, now the guy that spoke last now, before you pick my call, he said there has to be a thinking, a change in our mentality. I think I go along that line. And that's why the guy that called, that you phoned, did not say anything, that you seems not to be bothered. So we need to rethinking. Are we going to get foreigners to manage our sport? Are we going to get foreigners to come and manage our affairs? Where we have people who came to be learned in this country. With OPE. Is that not mind-boggling? It's not about just throwing money or in the trash can. And the same money will tackle everything. It's about planning. And I want you to notice that there's a golfing class between the advanced society and any country that's coming up. The country that won the other nation that won the gold, the lady was based in America. She's living in America.
True.
So it's one of those ones. I wonder what in a while it comes like that. But when you look at the first 10 countries that are dominating the table, the advanced societies, they have what it takes: the infrastructure, the planning, the edge, and the golfing class to edge any other country out. Which is what happened. But Nigeria, we have the talent, but we don't have the management capacity, the wherewithal, the management capability is defeated.
Thank you, Wumi. Thank you.
So
Thank you very much,
Wumi.
Wumi.
Gentlemen.
That's
my contribution.
Thank you very much, Wumi. We're set for some good time. As it stands, it looks like the French team have pulled one back. Interesting times. It's France 2, Spain 3. See, the goal has been long coming. The French team have just been pulling up.
The Spanish team were just soaking up the pressure, and I knew that at a point in time it would break. It's just like when you're trying to cover water. There's at a point in time the water will find a way.
Amazing time. Tommy, let me bring you into this conversation. I mean, we've talked about Tᴏᴏ Aᴅᴜᴛ over and over again, and I will tell you for a fact that one of the fears that we had was how overwhelming could it be for her. Especially, I made a joke early this morning that I imagine what her back would be like with the weight of expectations she's carrying. When all of our 3 athletes, fail to win any medal on the long jump, is a Brume, Patience Ochonogo, and ᴏᴜ. The entire expectations was on the 4x400 meters relay for men and Tᴏᴏ Aᴅᴜᴛ. Unfortunately today, Tᴏᴏ Aᴅᴜᴛ finished with 12.55, which was not enough for her to go through. Was it about Tᴏᴏ Aᴅᴜᴛ not doing enough, or you think it's about the weight of expectations that really overwhelmed her? We know our games management pattern is simple. The first 40 meters she doesn't always start well, but she'd always build the momentum, but it didn't work today, Tommy.
To be honest, we talked about this. I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday when she ran, of course, a particular hit, and we talked about the fact that she needed to have a much more improved performance, of course. But then unfortunately it happened that she started quite slow, just as she always does. This one I saw the way she started. She didn't even get up quite early.
She didn't come out of the blocks early.
Out of the blocks early enough. But to be honest, I don't think the pressure or the expectation is the architect of her downfall. I feel she herself is the architect of her downfall, because I don't understand why she has that kind of should I say tactic of trying much as possible to start quite slow and then try to build momentum. We are talking about I saw the hits of the other ladies. They had, I think it was
that's faster time.
Faster time.
They were 12.39.
She ended with 3 points.
As a matter of fact, she finished 9th overall in the semi-finals. So that goes to say that she obviously had a very, very poor performance, and we should not be saying that the expectations that Nigerians rather is causing this amount of pressure. We heard in the interview the soundbite that we played yesterday.
Yeah.
I felt she was quite overconfident at the point, but unfortunately it has come back to haunt her, and then we see where she goes from here.
Absolutely. It's quite unfortunate. I kind of felt like
unfortunate is not the word. It was disastrous. It was disastrous. Disastrous.
Maybe we'll come back and ask ourselves all of these really important questions. Did we through where within those 28 years, countries that have even not been formed have come up to win the Olympics? I feel the Nigerian system needs to change, and this has nothing to do with the athletes majorly. It has a lot to do with the administrators, the distraction. Look at Fᴏᴜ Oᴘᴇɪ, for instance. I mean, I read this morning that Fᴏᴜ Oᴘᴇɪ had the second fastest switch time in the relay in all of the teams. That means 100, her dash was the second fastest in all of the qualifiers. So imagine if she's done 100 meters dash. Let's go straight out to what Bet Baba has got for us. We'll come back and pick your call.
Want to see how you dey find better odd. I bet you want play cause over 1.5. I bet you want bet say but team no go score at all. Hey, we get better payout. Don't worry, we there for you. Our odd chop right out. We know the feel the show. Oh no, we there for you. Oh, we there for you. You see for Bet Baba, give me money, Bet Baba. Cash out today easy, oh Bet Baba. We get online games for you. You play all $1. Yeah. We get better bonus. Money we know that. Yeah. Now Bet Baba they has so. Cash out for sharp. Darling, no. Welcome to Bet Baba.
Register now on betbaba.ng. Not for people under 18.
It's legendary beats.
Easy. They know my story. From old dogs to you, I be hustle to work. Baby, you do me and see. From old dogs to you, we be hustle to work. Baby, you do my people dead, my people suffer. Them they pray for blessing. Baby, you do my people dead. Them they pray for blessing, for better living.
Alright, thank you very much. Welcome back. 0913-600-0410. We're quickly going to take your calls in between some of the transfer stories. Okay, straight up, your name and where you're calling from.
Calling from Olympic. My thought is like all these athletes join Nigeria in protest. That's fact, because all these are performance is like they are protesting.
What are they protesting? They've made a whole lot of money, millions of naira for themselves. Well, let's talk some transfer stories. Well, I don't know how Fabrizio Romano sleep at night, but let me assume that he's not human like most of us. Chelsea, Agbatomi. I may not exactly be a fan of Chelsea, but for a squad that's got about no, I'm not a hater. I'm just a banter. For a team that's got about 48 squad members at the moment, they've completed the signing of Neto from Wolves earlier today.
60 million.
It's a whole lot of jolly. If they're able to secure the move for Victor Osimhen, they could have Christopher Nkunku. They would have Jackson. They have Neto. They have Victor Osimhen. They have Omoro Diarra. They have
Fofana.
No, I'm even talking about the ones that may probably start. I think all of those ones could still go out on loan, because for a squad that's got about 48 squad members for now, that's still buying more players. There's a possibility that a lot of that big players will go on loan. This could just be the end of it. Spain are really beating up. That was close. That was really close. What do you think Chelsea is cooking? Let me use the street vibes. What is Chelsea cooking this season?
Okay, we are cooking concussion rice, to be honest. Concussion rice.
Before it was concussion, they moved to condition, and
now it's confusion.
Now it's now confusion, to be honest. You know, Chelsea now have, I think, 12 attackers now at the moment, and you begin to wonder.
And they have a new coach.
You begin to wonder what Enzo Maresca's plan is for these guys. Okay, we don't forget that there's still Lukaku that's still on the fringes of that team.
No, it looks like Lukaku is ready.
He has not left. He didn't even depend on the deal with Osimhen.
There's a huge possibility that Lukaku gets to play at Chelsea this season.
On the initial stages.
Yes, we have just a week to the beginning of the Premier League season. Enzo Maresca being at Chelsea at the moment, I feel like it's just a situation of a coach that doesn't even know his onions at the moment. Okay, to be honest, Chelsea, Todd Bowley, their technical directors, all of them.
I don't even want to believe that it is the manager that is doing all this. To me,
there's no way a new manager will come to a club and you are picking literally everybody. How do you settle down?
To me,
they didn't have a good preseason. They drew Wrexham and they lost against Man City. They lost against Madrid. They didn't have a good preseason.
It seems like whoever Chelsea sees on the road, they get to sign.
So I'm even wondering now. Tomorrow is Saturday. I may be free. Maybe I should use that bus and enter UK. Maybe Chelsea will see me and sign me. Let's talk to Daniel. Hold on, Akintaro. Hello, Daniel.
Hello, good evening.
Thank you very much for calling on the show today. Your audio dropped. £5 million deal plus add-ons. Dominic Solanke, the second highest scoring English striker last season.
He was also from Chelsea's academy. He could not break into the team,
and then he moved to Tottenham Hotspur. replacement for Hurricane may be the one they couldn't get last season. I can't tell you what you think.
Yes, they needed that pinpoint man. Son did well, but
it
was not that person. It was not that person. And D̀wɪɪr Oᴘᴇ, he has played all his life in England. He knows everything, and he had a good season. Might not be the best, but a good season for the team he was playing for. Considering the services he would get when it comes to Tottenham now, as he is on his way to Tottenham, it's going to be a better, and he has paid.
Sorry to cut you. There's a potential for a penalty.
The ball was not coming there.
There's a potential for a penalty that could go to France.
It shows the lack of experience there. That was a needless tackle.
It's a penalty. I don't even know what they needed the VAR for this one. His entire hand is wrapped around the player, and the ball was not even ending towards that direction.
What is the ref saying?
It's going to give a penalty. It is visible to the blind. It is very visible to the blind. I don't know why a player.
It's a penalty.
I don't know why.
It's a penalty.
I don't know why.
See, I knew it was not done.
At the 90th minute.
I knew France were not done.
In the final, you are making such.
And I really feel. I feel Spain should have killed this game off.
In that first half.
First half, you went 3 goals off. They should have killed this game off.
As early as the 39th minute of me. And I'm so sure that Thierry will be so glad this happened.
See, somebody was saying that this the MVP of this tournament could be Fermin Lopez, and I said Mateta has been really decisive for France. He brought them back into that game in that semi-final win over Egypt.
Scored twice.
And there's a possibility that he's going to be taking this penalty, and if he scores this one, it's going to be the game changer. See, I think if France equalizes this one, they have the momentum going for them. They could go on and win this game. But away from that, let's go back to what Chelsea is doing. And yes, no. Now this is see, Chelsea is, if you don't talk about Chelsea in transfer stories, we don't talk about Arsenal are not exactly making big signings.
City are not ready to make any.
City are not. Real Madrid said they are no longer signing players. So do you see Victor Osimhen fitting into this Chelsea squad? Somebody said the game changer was not exactly when they signed Michael Essien. That was when they brought in Didier Drogba. That's the early reigns of Chelsea. Then the exact factor, they've not had that marquee dead ball specialist that can get like the ball 6 predator. And how much of a game changer will Victor Osimhen be for Chelsea if they eventually get him? But before then, let's see what France will do with this one. Mateta is on the penalty, and this could be the decisive moment in this game. 90th minute, France 2, Spain 3, and this is a penalty. And here we go. It's France 3. Pelumi, did you place bet on this game? Chavos jumped out of our seats.
What's the place a bet on bet, Baba?
Maybe. Exactly. Maybe. I'm talking about bet, Baba. Here we go.
We get better payout. Don't worry, we there for you. Our own chapter out. We know the finish. No, we there for you. We there for you. You see for bet Baba, give me money. Bet Baba, cash out today easy. Bet Baba, we get online games for you. Play I got all I want. We get better bonus. I need another no. Yeah, now bet Baba get us cash out for sharp. Welcome to Bet Baba.
Register now on betbaba.ng. Not for people under 18.
Odogun no dey worry, no dey calculate. Other amigos make we celebrate you. Every time we enter, we dey coordinate. Na person wey get money, dem dey appreciate you. I dey live my life, I no dey sell nobody. Me I no dey hear what if e no be money. And I swear to God, this year we making money. See my heart, bullion value. If e no be money, better keep quiet. Now who no get money money, go dey top diet. Now when we no get money, go dey kiss and tell. See my yard, pull your van. Odogu no dey worry, no dey calculate. Other casamigos make we celebrate you. Every time we enter, we dey coordinate. Now person we get money, then they appreciate you. Odogu no dey worry, no dey calculate. Other casamigos make we celebrate you. Every time.
Alright, that's brand new from our own boy BK, and it calls that one Odogu. Check it out. It's a moment, it's a season of brand new joints, ladies and gentlemen. I will gradually coasting home. Hey guys, this weekend is the Community Shield, and that means the announcement for the arrival of the new English Premier League season for 2024-2025 season. In 1 minute, Akintayo, which of the teams do you think have made the best signings so far? Let's start with England. By next week, we'll take it league by league. Let's start with England. Which of the teams have made some decent signing that you think would be game changers for them?
Arsenal has made one. Man City, based on they needed someone like that Mahrez, someone that could drive, someone that could be trickery, someone that has that influence, and the Savio is one of the best players.
I think so.
In that
Big signing.
position. Wow, that just hit the rooftop, and that was the guy that
France will have won it.
Spanish.
Ooh, Spain will have won this one. That was close. That would probably be like the last kick of this game.
And that was the person who committed the foul. So you could know that this meant a lot to him. So the two sides, that's the Manchester side, which is Manchester City, and as well as Arsenal, they've done great business.
Tonua, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with him. To be honest, I feel like
you can't mention his club now.
Which club? Their biggest sign is the manager.
I agree with Akintola rather. To be honest, I feel like Arsenal. I feel their most impressive signing this season has been Ricardo Calafiori. I think would definitely get to start ahead of William Saliba, because I feel to be honest,
bye.
Yeah, we get
time to see. Oh, there's some slander I can tolerate on my show. Not that slander.
Saliba.
Okay. Calafiori will go alone.
No, come on.
If there's no space for him to play in that team,
I saw his performance. If he's not going to start ahead of Saliba, then he will definitely be starting ahead of Gabriel.
It's not even going to be a problem. There's a wing back that's.
He can
Zinchenko may not start.
He can play as a left. He can play as a
defensive midfielder as well.
So it's not.
See, guys. I think next week will give us more time to talk about it. Big shout out to everyone that joining on the show today. It's Friday by 7 o'clock. There's going to be Kule Daniel with voice from the top, and then we'll keep the conversation going. Ladies and gentlemen, it's still goalless.